Dave here. How are you? Today is the 15th of September 2019 and an absolutely glorious day here in the Blue Mountains. Springtime at the moment. It's 23 degrees outside, 23 Celsius. I think that's 73 Fahrenheit. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for letting me know that, guys. Everything's running well. Maybe my mother-in-law isn't using the internet. I've typed up a dirty big sign she pops on top of her computer on Saturday night, so she right for the next morning doesn't forget it. Excellent. Thanks to everyone for telling me the sound and vision is good. Now today we're going to do something slightly different. Instead of working with timber, I'm going to work with aluminium. So I guess you guys in the States call this stuff aluminum. Potatoes, potato, I don't know. So anyway, here we call it aluminium. This is a piece of 40 millimeter by 40 millimeter by 3 millimeter thick angle. So 3 millimeters is close enough to 1/8 of an inch thick. I was considering getting thinner stuff, but it was only $2 difference to get from 1 millimeter up to 3. So I got this. This is around about $15 for that chunk. It's just over a meter long. So, and you know, the local big box store, pretty close to where Ian is. I'm talking about Ian. Has anyone bought a Turner hand plane during the week after Ian came up and just showed us all of those beautiful planes that he's got? I forget how many you had again, Ian, if you'd like to put a comment in the chat section down the side. And are you actually allowed inside the house anymore at home after you confessed? Anyway, I purchased a 4.5 Turner. 4.5 is my favorite size. It's a smoothing plane. And you were tempted, David? Excellent. Well, I purchased one on eBay. Now, also, there are 3 Turner planes for sale. I think someone put a link, Michael Christopher, I think, put a link in the Dave Stanton livestream chat group on Facebook. They are a 5.5, a 6, and a 7. Now, I know Ian would love to have a 6. So, you know, and I think they're asking $500. I've got nothing to do with it. And I was tempted to get it myself as well, but I didn't. I was strong. I have some other things that I want to buy at the moment, so I've had to back off. Isn't it tempting when you get to our age and the purse strings aren't as tight as when we were younger and couldn't afford anything? It's a really nice place to be. It really is. Anyway, so the reason I've got this aluminium angle, too many, Dave. The reason I've got this angle is because I've done a little bit of a television shuffle. Now, I've got an old plasma screen. And when I say old, I feel really strange about saying old because plasma was a brand new technology that came along, you know, while I was, 30s or 40s, I think. And I still remember watching CRT TVs, cathode ray tubes. And black and white was all that was around when I was a kid. I remember when they brought color in. So saying a plasma screen is old-fashioned is a little bit weird. Everyone's going LCD screens these days, which is great. So we got another LCD screen and replaced the plasma. The plasma I've now put in another room. You look around, you say, well, where am I going to stick this stupid TV? It's a terrible thing to say, but it's the truth. You know, we're in Australia. We've got it pretty good, and I'm guessing a lot of other countries around the world, just the same, when you reach my age with grey hair. Now, someone said on this article that I was in Australian Woodsmith, and I was quite chuffed about that. Anyway, there's a picture of me, and my hair looks dark, and someone said, they've touched it up. No, they've not touched it up. The thing is, when I get a haircut, it gets rid of all the sun bleaching. So that's not grey. This is grey, but it's actually sun bleached. That's all it is. I'm not old. Anyway, why did I buy the Turner plane? One other thing. That's why I did. Yes. Okay. I get distracted easily. So here we go. I've got this. Now, the reason I've got this plasma screen in another room, and I've got this LCD screen that I use in the office. Now, it's for when I'm using CAD or Aspire. Sometimes the computer that I've got Aspire on, if I'm doing a larger kind of a layout, what I do is I have this screen. It's a 4K screen, and it's really easy to see stuff instead of shrinking it down and blowing it up in one area to see it, then shrink it back down and blow it up in another area. It's all blown up. Now, this screen I also take to timber shows because it's good in the background to have it running and showing people the things I do in my workshop, which is great. This is my live show. Hi, Matthew. Yes. It's sun bleach, I'm telling you. Ian, how are you? So anyway, this screen I've got in there, and it takes up a lot of space on the bench if I'm not using it. So I thought, look, it's a TV, why not stick it up on the wall? And then I can watch a bit of TV if I want, because that office also we double up as a guest bedroom. If people come around to visit, you know, they don't have a TV on the screen, on the wall as well, which would be lovely. Now, the screen, or the TV, has legs. And I thought to myself, I want this TV on the wall and be able to move it around all over the place, so an articulated mount. Now, this articulated mount is fantastic. It lets it come 500 millimeters out from the wall, turn around 15 degrees down, backwards and forwards. And I was concerned that it wasn't going to be strong enough for the things, you know, for the weight. Anyway, all of those fears unjustified. It's very strong. And I thought, well, it's going to cost a bomb. No, it was about $20 more than a standard basic unit. You can spend $600 or $700 on some of these mounts, you know, to take really monstrous things and heavy. But this LED is only very lightweight. So I bought it, put it on the wall, and I thought I'll make a bracket on the wall, a shelf underneath it, to put this on. The reason being, these things are basically essential if you get a small flat screen TV. Well, when I say small, again, 50-inch now is considered small. 65, I guess, is your standard size. So I didn't want, because the thing with flat screen TVs, they're so thin, there's no real depth there for any speakers to be any good. So they're only tiny, tiny little things, and I have a hard time hearing at the best of times anyway. So it's a shocker. But anyway, this I'm going to mount directly under the TV in the same holes that the legs were. There's 2 screws there. So I will drill a couple of holes, 4 holes in this, exactly where the legs would have gone onto. So that will mount it underneath the TV, because I haven't got to worry about the speakers in the TV working anymore. I can unscrew this anytime I want to take the screen to a show, and then just screw this back on, because the mount on the wall is a very quick release. You know, it's 2 little knobs and the screen pops off. If the mount can stay on the back. It's fantastic. Didn't need to spend $550 to get a number 6. We already have enough 5.5 and 7s, but thanks. I'll tell you what, Ian, we could go halves. You spend $250. I'll come up with the $300. I'll keep the 5.5 and the 7. If you want to do that, I'm in. I'll do that with you. So you keep the 6. You've always wanted a 6. You know you want it. You know you want it. And $250, I reckon you'd go for a 6 for $250, wouldn't you? Anyway, that's a by the by. This is the first time on the show, is it Matthew? Excellent. All right. I'm reading again. Michael Jude, someday I'll stop being blonde. Being colorblind can help. Good morning. Of course, I need some coffee. Talking too much again. Okay, so there we go. That's why I'm going to mount this underneath, because then the sound bar will move around with the screen. Rather than have this against the wall, and the screen might be aiming over there, or it might be aiming over there, depending on where I angle it in the room. Also, sound bars on the wall, there's little brackets on the back here, and they've never really been good. So I thought that's what I'd do. And being something that I want to do, I thought you guys might be interested in watching. So what I have to do is also I have to be very conscious about what is on the back of this sound bar. Now, I'm going to use these areas here to mount onto the aluminium. But there's also all of these sockets along here that I can't foul at the back. So one of them is for a USB stick. So did you know you can play music directly out of these? If you've got music on a USB stick, you can plug it into the back of this. And brilliant. I'm learning all the time. I really am. Am I the only tragic one? live bartering, another first. Ian, what do you reckon? All right, so that's what I'm going to do. So on the show as well today, John Lafferty has sent up a video, and it's a really, really good video. And I'm going to go with that right at the front because you'll probably want to turn off after you watch that because it is so good. So let's have a quick look. This is the project I'm doing. The video is about how to mount a photo ready for framing, a little bit of technology, casting video to an older TV, and that's something I'm going to talk about a little bit further down the track. All this new stuff. Well, probably not new stuff to the younger people, but for me, it's all new. Springtime in Australia, get out to your shed and make stuff. Definitely. Has anyone felt tempted to do that? Like during winter, the last, say 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was really cold. And I just didn't really feel motivated to go out and do anything. You just become a bit of a dead weight and depressed. I wasn't getting any sun on me, so I'm still really pale at the moment. I'll darken up as the season goes by. So we got that. And also this morning, I'm really, really fortunate. Let me see if I've got it here. This guy was talking to me this morning. So down in the valley, that's not my photo, that's someone else's. But that's an Eastern Australian whipbird, or Australian Eastern whipbird. And they are fantastic. So let me go back to here. So if you've ever heard, I say so too many times. Are you familiar with an Australian show called Skippy? Well, I'm pretty sure it's a whipbird at the beginning. He goes, I'll see if I can do it. It's like that. Anyway, my rendition was pretty lame, but it's really beautiful. It's the male right down in the valley, and you can hear him all the way through the valley. It's just magic. And he's calling out to the girls, and the girls just answer with a little. That's it. That's the girls' tune, but the boy goes. It sounds like a whip crack. Anyway, is anyone else here? Oh dear. All right, so here we go. Now, I'm going to quickly read this as well. I was going to do an IMUFS competition today, but I couldn't find my password to get into Rafflecopter. So we'll have to wait till next week. I'll do one next week, if I remember. So I'm going to do John's mat board now. I'm going to can the sound on my thing, and you just watch this. You're going to love it. He shot this whole thing with a phone. Give me a sec.
So some people saw a photo of a matboard cutter that I've mounted to the ceiling I got out recently. It's a professional grade machine, but a lot of people haven't seen how photos or any sort of artwork can be matboarded. You take it into the framing shop and they just make it appear in the glass for you. But this is a little mini version photo I took during the Canberra fires in 2003, and this is what you'd get made with a frame and a piece of glass, but inside there is the original photo there, a piece of foam board, which is just thick thin paper with soft foam in between, just keeps it firm, and it's got on the back is stick, so it makes the photo sit nice and flat. And the mat board, which is, if you look closely, has a little fine bevel edged. So now I'll show you how that gets cut. So I've done all my basic measurements so that this photo will end up inside this mat board and on this piece of foam. And though I've already set up the cutter, so I have to cut the foam so it goes in against this edge over here, which is already scaled. This slides across and cut that spare piece of foam, that piece off. If there was more, I would make more, but I've made it as fewer cuts as possible. So now I know that these two boards are the same size. And now I know, because I've already pre-measured, to have this sit in the middle of the mat board, it's going to be 52 millimeters in all the way around. So what I'll do over here down the bottom of the screen is I'll measure 52 millimeters in, just as a guide. I'll loosen this edge off and slide it across until the mark is on here, and tighten up the top and the bottom. And this has all been preset, so this is 90 degrees and it's all nice and laid out. There are adjustments at the top and the bottom here, so if you're doing lots you could set it all up in one go, and you could make these markers, use these stoppers, so you could do repetition work, but I'm not going to do that this time. In this case I'm just going to pencil mark so I know where to start and stop cutting. Like so. And now there's a blade. That was the side I used for cutting the foam. On this side is the blade that's at 45 degrees. So while that's sitting against there, I'll hold that there, and there's a small marker inside, and I take that down, start the slice, and I take that down the bottom because it's starting to slide. I start the slice. Mark to mark, turn it 90 degrees, hold it in, mark to mark, and number 3. And if I've got this right, on the 4th one, the centerpiece will just fall out, and I'll be left with a nice slide that out, and there we go. Mat board all out. And what I'll do is I'll line that up with the board here, and I'll just make myself a couple of little marks into the board here. This is basically allowing me to line up the photo. Take that away. So the last step is I take this foam board and I'll peel it back and fold it back to about halfway. I can see where the indentations are where I've marked the inside of my frame, so I'm going to put my photo in just top and bottom of those marks, and use a cloth and peel it back. Like so. And then put the mat board on top, get it lined up, and slip. Don't let it slip because it's very sticky. Set it up, and there's my photo all matted up and ready for framing. Now, as you can see, the mat board cutter goes all the way up to the top here, and is a pretty big thing to keep stored anywhere. And this long bar out to the side here, you have to set with a set square to be able to get it right. And I really don't want to get this out all the time, so I've mounted it with hinges up in the top corner and a 120 offset from the top, and on a piece of MDF underneath. So now I can just lift it up. You can see the dowels just slide in and out, and basically they've just got in front here, there's 2 pocket hole screws on all 4 sides of both of these blocks. And at the hinge end there, you can see that there's just a whole series of pocket holes screws that are actually on both sides of that block on the wall, and and 3 big hinges.
So what do you think of that? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Just a talent. I love those sticky backing boards, the foam board that John was talking about there, that the photo sticks to and then the mat board sticks to. Anytime that I've done a framed thing like that, what happens is the mat board will move around or the photo will slip in behind, you know, after a couple of years. But really, really nice. Thanks for that, John. A bit more coffee. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Oh, here's a question. Olympics, Olympic Games, and sport in general. What do you think about some of the events that they have? Do you think they are worthy of being in the Olympics, or do you think it's a waste of time having them? I'm curious. I'll tell you why in a minute. I'll tell you why I'm curious. All right, here we go. Now, the length of this unit here is 1060. So I need to, and this is on a meter, so it's basically 30 millimeters in from each end. What I'm going to do, I'm sure John will be able to tell you. I'm going to switch cameras so we can see what's happening a little bit closer here. And there we go. All right. Yeah, you guys keep on talking about the stuff that John was doing there, which is really fantastic. Now, these guys here, I'll bring the camera in a little closer. That's all right. So this and this are going to be my mount points. And remember, I've got these connections down here. This is a USB stick that goes in there. It sits proud, see? So the aluminium angle can't be going over the top of that. I'm going to have to make an area to allow that through. And just here is the power cable goes in there as well. So I can't have the aluminium totally enclosing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo these if I've got the correct screwdriver. Oh, talking about screwdrivers, that's my turn. I cleaned up the shank on it last week because I was embarrassed. And then I also fixed the ratchet and go the other way. Just lovely. You proud of me, Ian? There we go. Undo these. And this one down here. So I'm going to take the screw out that was in that mount, keep the screw, and I'm going to take the screw out of this one. We're going to use the screws, and we need to drill holes in the right position. Now I've got a little mark on the end of the bar on both ends, and it is there and there. Now that's going to make it easy for me to line up the center of the hole there and there. And you see I've put a little mark here as well for the USB stick, and I'm going to put one here for the power supply. Now, rather than drilling holes for these, I'm going to use the spindle sander to create an arc. So I've already started a little bit there. And I'll tell you something as well. Being aluminium, or aluminum, whatever you want to call it, I'm not going to use a dust extractor with it. There are specialized dust extractors that are made for sanding aluminium, because sanding aluminium, it's an explosive dust. So a little heads up for you. Be aware, and I'm saying so again. That's a heads up for you. Aluminium oxide has already been combusted. That's because it's been oxidized. But aluminium neat, if you sand it, be aware that don't run it into a standard dust extractor. All right, where are we? Now I need to make sure, well, I'm going to put the holes in here first, and I should be looking at the end there, I don't want to come down below the sound bar. I think if I come in around about 10 millimeters, I should be okay. I just read the comment there about how many screws John used. It's like the Harbour Bridge construction, wasn't it? Okay, now where are they all? There. Now I'm going to just use a simple method of done. I use my finger to be a guide to putting these lines in. That's one point there. I'm going to make the holes slightly larger than they need to be. Just check that again with the micro measurement here. Yep, that's all good. And I'm going to use the center punch. And look at this, my things aren't rolling around here because of that little tool well. I have a leg directly under here in the bench. So I'm going to do a center punch almost right over the top of it, or as close to. Another punch, done. And up to the other end. I could have used the Veritas optical punch, but I don't need to be super accurate with this one. Look at that, not going anywhere. All right, I'm going to drill a hole there and a hole there. The screws are these ones. I'll put one in that little holder. So it's only a tiny little screw. I think it's probably going to be a 4 millimeter. I'll get a 4 millimeter out and I'm going to countersink it with an 8 millimeter. Get the drill. You're going to use what, Dave? Hold on a second. I'm not grey, it's the sun. I like it. Here we go. Set it into fast. Aluminium, I can actually drill faster than steel. Not because I'm any stronger, but you can do it. It's not going to worry it. Now, I'm going to put it straight over a dog hole. You didn't see what I was doing then, did you? But anyway, there's the hole. I'll turn the drill around sideways a little bit this time so you can see. Is that any better? Gotcha. There we go. 2 holes. Let's check that the screws will fit. They should do. They will. And the other thing to be aware of if you're doing this is that these screws can't be too long. Now these guys here have thickness, so it's basically like a dirty big thick washer. And in the mount here, you'll see just here where the screw goes into, these are a blind hole. They're not going right the way through, and I don't want to run into any componentry that might be inside here. So I've already done a quick little test that the screw, when it's in here with the 3 millimeter, the countersink is going to be crucial. It won't go any further. I've got to make sure that this countersink that I create doesn't allow the screw to drop down into the aluminium angle too far. All right, let's have a look. I'll get an 8 millimeter out because, as I said, I just did a little bit of mucking around. I also use the 8 millimeter in the T-tracks when I prepare them for this bench. So when I use the Euro screws, that's an 8 millimeter drill that I use, but I use it in a drill press and set the depth so it doesn't go any deeper. There it is there. Gotcha. Into low speed for this one, I think. All right. So I'm just going to create a little bit of a countersink, not going too far. I'll turn the speed up, I think. It's going to give it a cleaner hole. Beautiful. And this one. How nice was that frame? It's so good. It's a sharing community. Don't you enjoy it? I love picking up, even if you watch for the hour and there's one little thing you'll pick up. Why not? You know, it's one bit of knowledge that you didn't have yesterday. And that thing with the professional mat board cutter is fantastic. John does a beautiful job on it. All right, now we're going to create these arcs. And I'm going to use the bobbin sander for it, or the spindle sander. And I will switch over to the other camera so you guys don't get seasick while I do it. So back to the main camera and chat. There we go. Raise that up to there. And ball head. Oh, here's something. Here's something. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll notice that on the back of my head, when I said bald head, I thought of bald head. You'll notice that I've been losing hair in the middle of my head, and I thought, this is crazy. So Vicky put me on to collagen, which is supposed to be good for your nails and skin and hair and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, that's a girl thing. But I thought, all right, it's harmless to try it. And I did. I started. And also jelly. There's collagen in jelly. Did you know that? The gelatin. So I started using it. And mate, I tell you what, it works. Now, you were going to say, proof is in the pudding? It is indeed. Here you go. Have a squeeze. Now that was sparse as. Now there's a bit there at the moment, but it was worse. It was a lot worse than that. It was just, there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing there for, you know, about that round. No hair at all. It's slowly coming back. What's it cost to do it? Nothing. Well, you know, apart from the pills. So the bald head, I'm going to spin that around and to there, I think, about there. So I'm going to have to hop on the other side. Now this is the thing where I'm saying with sanding aluminium, don't do it. No picture in picture. Oh, sorry. Maybe that was just as well. Maybe that was just as well. Here we go. I'll go to this one. Here you go. You ready? So, here we go. I'm going to spin around and you can see it. Now there's a little bit of sparseness there, but it's not too bad. That is growing over. Now it's not a comb over. It's not one of those lame comb overs. It is growing back. There you go. So what do you reckon? Should have known that 35 years ago. And I tell you what, well, I don't know, Stephen, if it's too late for you or not. So look, here's three tips you've got today. I am not a monk. So here's the tips. Cutting mat boards. Don't use a standard dust extractor, sanding aluminium. Eat collagen, lots of jelly. And you reckon I should wear a hat, Stephen? Good idea. Grass does not grow on a busy street. What was the other thing? Look, there was something else there, I'm sure. All right, here we go. I'm going to, just here, if you can see it, I'm going to create more of a dent there, and I'm going to create one down here. And I'm going to use the bobbin sander. Now, you may be aware that these things here, there's a link in the show more if you want to get a hold of one, which is going to be $100 off for you guys in Australia, and go into the running for a $500 gift card. Follow the link down the bottom, and it's going to finish pretty soon. So take advantage if you need to. Now, also with bobbin sanders or spindles, did you know that you can adjust the sleeve up and down or turn it upside down? See, down the bottom here, hardly any of it's used. The reason being it's designed to tip over at 45 degrees as well, and you've still got to have some meat and some sandpaper down there to be able to work on it because it drops down. So, didn't know if you guys were aware or not. I don't use a sander, so I wear a mask while I'm doing this. I don't know if you can see the mask. A little bit, maybe. All right, turn her on. Look at that. Now I haven't finished, but that's quite a neat thing to do. What I'm going to do now is adjust this. I'll take this off. It would be interesting to do a poll on how many of my viewers have a little bit of the tide receding. Now this thing is a left-hand thread, so we have to, I said so again. It's undo. Your normal is do it up, so doing it up is going to undo it. There we go. Now they need to be released a little bit. What happens is you tighten this nut up. It compresses the rubber, which makes it expand. You can see this area here is where I've been doing the aluminium. I can just raise it up from where it was about 1/2 inch. And I'm going to tighten it up again. Come on. Got it. Okay, that's got it. And that's about halfway up. Oh, it's about 1/2 inch up from where it was. I can turn it on to watch. See how it's come up past now? That red section down here. Let's have a go. Beautiful. Now I haven't locked the wheels on this cabinet, so it's rolling around a little bit on me. I'll lock those two now. I'm going to try a belt cleaning stick on it as well. See how it goes. It should work, but I think the aluminium is going to be a little bit more aggressive than just timber. Cool. I think that might be close to enough. And the other one is down here. I'm going to loosen it off again. And turn her over. All right. Gotcha. Don't over tighten them. So you can see the recess I've created here, this one here, and turn it on again. And another thing I can do, put a block of wood here, cool. Let's see how that's gone. All right. You're at high tide, David. Okay. Yeah, that is bad taste, Silver. Surely using a jigsaw to cut it out would, or a grinder would be easier and dare say quicker, but nowhere near as neat. Harder to get nice symmetrical indent. Yeah, be careful when using a grinder on aluminium to be sure to use the correct type of wheel. Let's go to, let's spin this around. There. Alrighty. So let's I keep on saying so. Let us have a look and see if it's going to work. So we have that one there and that one there. Line it up over that hole there and that hole there. And it's not quite. I'm going to have to take more out. Let me bring this camera over a little bit further so you can see it. So I need to take more out of there. And I do need to take a little bit more out of there. But for the moment, I'd like to get it on there so we're not having to muck around with it. I'm just going to give this a rub on the side. Yes. Got it. I took the burr off the back on the side of the bobbin. And screwdriver. Where are we? And this one. That's leaning over at an angle for some strange reason. I need to have a look at that. Why is it doing that? How's everyone going? The more fun with sander. So yeah, I know. So what's wrong with so? It's one of those stupid habits that you get into. Do you have any stupid habits that you have that you think, why am I saying that? Why? I should really get a file, but a piece of sandpaper from over here will do this. A little bit of 80 grit. It's a bit rough, isn't it? Look away. Look the other way. It will not be seen on the back because it's going straight on to there. And the screw. That's going in better. Beautiful. Look at that. Looks like a real one. Looks like someone bought it. I need to open that hole up just a touch. All right. Here I saw. Earworms. earworms. No, the TV I got at Aldi. I buy a heap of stuff at Aldi, you guys know that. The soundbar I got from JB Hi-Fi. You know, I don't mind mentioning their names, that's where I bought it. And it was twice the price of the TV. Bizarre. Let's open this up a little. And the other one. So that should share the load, opening the pair of them up. It should share the discrepancy. Let's try it again. As I say, this is something I had to do. I thought, yeah, why not? Let's do it on the show. I'm serious about those. It's gone in sideways again. I'm serious about getting those turners. If you're interested, I'll do it. That's better. Because as someone was saying, once they're gone, they're gone. They don't make them anymore. And you're talking about being custodian. I'd love to be a custodian of a couple of turners. Got one coming, as I was saying, in the mail. I'm doing this because I just want to check that it's going to support the bark adequately. There we go. Not a problem at all. That's going to look really good under the telly. So from the TV, this part here is going to get mounted up under where the legs were. So, the legs were up there. I'll drill the 4 holes here, which I shall do now. This is great. That's going to work very well. As I say, the TV being articulated. Go back to the main camera again. The TV being articulated, so it can aim anywhere and backwards and forwards all over the place. How much nicer is it to have this underneath and following it and being directional if you're a real sound freak and you need to have it perfect? Well, this is going to help a heap. That's going to support it so well. I'm really happy with that. And it's going to give it clearance because with the sound bar, I think the speakers also come from the top as well as the front. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they do to get their surround sound system happening with them. Beautiful. What was the other thing we were going to do today? Casting. I was going to talk about that. We've still got 15 minutes, so I'm going to 10 or 15 minutes. I'm still going to do this. My phone. Here it is. I was talking at the beginning of the show about older TVs and the plasma being an older TV. One of the things about it as well, it gets really hot. So during summer, it's, I'm driving myself crazy. During summer, it wasn't pleasant because it'd heat the room up and they cost more to run. And, you know, you're using electricity for an air conditioner to cool the room down again. Waste of dollars. I nearly said so. My reckoning is that during winter, I could use this plasma screen in a room as a heater. That's my reasoning. So that is why I didn't get rid of it. I'm going to hold on to it. Now, casting. A lot of TVs, even smart TVs, you can't cast to. And, you know, casting, I was thinking fishing, all that kind of stuff. I'm old. Chromecast. That's the thing that I got. I bought a Chromecast receiver. It's a dongle. Put it in short, easy terms. Even then, a lot of people aren't going to know what a dongle is. Here we go. It's a dongle with an HDMI male plug on the end. You shove it into a HDMI port on a TV that has an older TV that still has an HDMI port. Turns it into basically a smart TV. So then you can cast from your phone, if your phone is capable of doing it. You download an app, it's called Google Home or something like that, and you can cast from here. So I can watch YouTube, I can watch a heap of things that this phone could normally do, but you know, instead of being on a small screen, you could watch this show on an older TV using one of these dongles with an HDMI port. Interesting. I bought that one. It's a full HD, which is 1080. You can get them a little bit more expensive for 4K if you wanted to go that way, but if you've got an older TV, why would you do it? Because it's going to be an full HD or an HD. And I've put a link in the description box below for another one for Australia, which was half the price of the one that I bought. And it's not a genuine one, but it works with Google Home. So they say it will be arriving at my place in another week and a half or so. So I'm going to test it. Keep pulling myself up. I'm going to test it and see what I think. Anyway, I've put a link in the description box if you're going to want to be brave like me and have a shot. Why not? It's there. I'm going to keep drilling holes in this. I'm going to leave it on the bar so I don't get confused as to where the holes have got to be. I'm going to do a quick read. Saw offset drilled into a bracket board for a quicker result. I see your suggestion before my comment. All good. Wayne Jones, should we start calling him so Stanton? Yeah, thanks Wayne. Thank you. When you get your NBN, you'll be able to through the Wi-Fi as long as you have a reasonably new TV. Correct. I have a reasonably new TV and I can cast from this straight to it because it already has Chromecast built in. It's just the older ones I was mentioning. Matthew, and they're very good, I can do more. Now, I have some dimensions down here. And these are where the holes are in the bottom of the telly. You will not be able to see the result. I'll take a photo and see what we can do. Well, during the week on the live stream, I'll throw the photo up of how this looks when it's all finished. Now is an easier thing to say, isn't it? 507 between, so that is, to the center of this is just over a meter and one. There. I'll turn the other one on, and if you're still here, this one and this one. I've turned it over now. All right. That's the center, which is in line with the center of the volume button there. And 507, so half of 507, I think, is 253.5. Now, I normally, when I'm measuring a length, I normally go to a unit of 100. And then I measure the distance. So I'm on 400 at the moment. And I want to go 253 because these things down the end here, the ends of the tape, aren't very reliable while you're working on the center. So I'm 400, I want to go 253.45. So it's 100, 200, and 53.5. There. Now I can measure back 507. Also, I'm going to go 607. Yeah, that's one of the great things about metric. 607 is there, and I'm going to go to 100. I'm going to get a square for this part. Grab a square off the wall. That little combination will do me fine. Yes, so it's little things, and people that are up with technology are fine with it. They say, yeah, of course, you know. Or people will probably turn around and say, Dave, your suggestion's great, but there's even a better way of doing it. And I'm sure John's going to tell me Raspberry Pi and all that kind of stuff. Oh, you've got no idea what a Raspberry Pi is. Better to use a solid rule for this sort of measuring. Correct. Correct. But I'm naughty and I'm not going to. 17 millimeters. Now I need to have this sit as proud of the base of the TV as possible. I'm going to come in with my specialized method. Done. And I need to go 17 millimeters in from there. But you've got to remember that my background is a builder, so I'm very much at home with a tape. And I build tolerance into things. I drill a slightly larger diameter hole. The screws that are going into this one are a dome head. We are all naughty. Measure left, measure right, then check between before drilling can help too. Correct. So left and right. And then I'm going to measure from the outside into those holes to make sure that it's centered. So I have 200, I said it again, 236 and 200 and, whoa, that could have been ugly. It could have been big time ugly. 236, I made a stuff up, and 249. Now, why is that so? That hasn't been centered there. You know why? Half of 507, of course, is not 253. Half of 50, I'm an idiot. I had already measured the distance. 253 is here from the end. And 253 from the end. And that might give me the right length, but no, it hasn't. I'm going to work it out the other way. So half of 507 is 250. I don't understand what's going on there. 250 is half of that, and then half of 7 is 3.5, 253. Why? This is where that rule was a good idea. That one. That one, that one, that one. You guys, see, measure 5,000 times, drill once. Get rid of that. Good. Yes. And do a quick test on there. That end was perfect. This end's fine. It was just this one. And if I wanted to be really good, I could set this up like so. Both ends. Done. Center punch. Move that out of the way. Because it's spring, people are getting out of their shed or getting into their sheds and ordering benches off me again. They've gone quiet for a little while. That one there, because people weren't working out in their workshop. Got it, got it. And then down this end. Ta-da! I'm going to measure it again, and we're nearly time. Beautiful. What was that, Stephen? Check with the TV to see the legs are in the same spot before drilling. Yes, I could do. I did use the combo square, yes. Anyone know where to get a center rule? FastCap makes center rules. Excellent. All right, I'm going to drill the hole, and then I think we'll call it for the day. Yep, I'll drill slightly oversized. Put that there, under there, like like so. We're on fast. Come on. Got him. And this one, pardon me. There and there and there. So you can see what's happening. And this last one. Done. Switch cameras because it's just about time to go. There we go. Quickest way to blunt a drill bit, you reckon? There we go. We have it. Holes drilled where the TV legs support were. So it will face like so and just go wherever. So easy, a lot easier and more, and pardon me, and better than putting a shelf on the wall. All right, guys, I think that's it. I just want to say thank you to my patrons. Oh, before I go, wait there. I got some photos to show you. What have we got here? We've got some things from Aaron. I need to come back over to here. Aaron Vandendungen. I hope that's the way I pronounce your name. He's made some stuff. Here we go. Great as usual. Here we go. Hi Dave, how's it going? I thought you might like a few shots of my new cleat tool wall. Really works well as every module can be moved and taken to where you're working and reorganized accordingly. Looking forward to the show. Here's the next shot. So he's moved things around. Have a look at that and then look at the next one. So he can move things around on the wall to wherever he wants. And then what workshop is a workshop without a shop dog? And there's his pooch. So thank you for that. And what else have we got? Rick Schnellman, he won the IMUFs a little while ago. And here he is in his workshop, working away on a massive bench that he built using the path guide system. As I said, don't forget the J-Boss sander and to go into the chance of winning $500 worth of Carbotech gift cards, and that's available to Australia only. And you must put in the code Stanton where it says the promo code, my surname, and away you go. I think that is it. I think that is all of it. Hit the transition. Thank you everyone for watching. Look after yourselves. Stay well. Be nice to each other. And I shall see you next week.